was praying, somebody touched me. While I was praying, somebody touched me. While I was praying, somebody touched me. Must have been the hand of the Lord. Glory, 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 somebody touched me. Glory, 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 somebody touched me. Glory, 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 somebody touched me. Must have been the hand of the Lord.
Тут все так гарно і ніби не тирануто сучасними руками людини, ніби тільки-тільки раби вигнали працювати в поле, господарі десь пішли відпочивати до маєтку. Тут тиша, спокій, природа. Ще й погода нам сьогодні удачна. Якщо б ходили по спеці, неможливо. Так. Сьогодні місце.
It would have not been like
Природа дивовижна.
Це дуже гарне місце.
Угу. Все дерево.
Це сарай для човнів.
Угу.
Там воду. Краще, ніж будинки цих.
Чи робів, да? Так, заходимо сюди. А ти чуєш запах дерева? Приємний, так? Да? Такий, я б сказала, хвоя. Ні? Лаванда? Лаванда? А мені курді дерево оце.
Мені здається, що його вичистили. Яке це класне місце, слухай, я взагалі тусувала. Тут ресторан треба робити.
Треба, так. Да. Тут дуже красиво. Вже як свіжо. Вітерець такий гарний. Я б так бы хотела сейчас під водичку, эту женщину.
You gotta get one of these to wrap around.
Yeah, I have one. Go set it right down.
Вон там ще десь можна водички купити там.
О, так.
Угу.
He was the first English owner. He was the first Englishman to have title over this property. John Boone got his money the old-fashioned way. He married into it, which is really the easiest way to get it. He wasn't born into money. As well. There was an economic downturn that didn't just affect this country. In fact, in 1870, we want to keep them firmly on your head. On the right-hand side, a great example of a live oak tree that's native to the landscape. There are about a dozen trees on the property that are as old as or older than that one. The one on the left-hand side behind this green sign is a live oak tree that our arborist has told us is over 650 years old. That tree was growing there before Christopher Columbus bumped into the New World. The Saltwater Creek that still connects us to Charleston Harbor today, the tide is now outgoing. If you had a barge full of bricks, if you had a barge full of cotton or indigo, and you get further along, you can get to the city by about 8 hours from out here. It's only about 5.5 miles as the crow flies. The event field on the right-hand side for big musical concerts, wine tastings. Some of them are all brown, and those will be the juveniles. As they turn into adults, this is what they do. You can see that they're laying on the ground with their wings spread. That is how they control their body heat. They're regulating the temperature of the blood that's flowing through their wings by either spreading them out in the air or spreading them out on the ground in the shade. Got some wood storks running down the middle of the road in front of Eddie, and a small tricolored heron just got up off the ground. But this on the right-hand side is a freshwater pond. This is what the English would have referred to as Sweetwater. See that we've got vultures flying around up there. Those are black vultures. I don't know what they're circling for in that field. Maybe I need to go check to make sure we don't have a king. And you can see the pollinators are all in it right now. Bees, butterflies. This is buckwheat. We do this to feed whitetail deer. So they brought in pecans. They brought in about 15,000 pecan trees to Boone Hall. By the 1890s, they were managing an orchard that was about 1,200 acres in size. By 1905, there are recorded harvests. All started to damage the pecan crop. The last really big one we had was 1989. Hurricane Hugo came through Charleston. Category 4 storm damaged 80% of the standing pecan trees in a 12-hour period. From sunset on September 21st to sunrise on September 22nd, 80% of these pecan trees were gone. We could no longer stay on these mounds. We don't harvest it. We just grow it for educational purposes. Beehives out in the field, very active. The beekeeper was out here about 30 minutes ago adding hives or adding frames into some of those hives to make them bigger. The beehive, the myrtles on the left-hand side, beautiful white crepe myrtles on the right-hand side, sunflowers. Folks, I left out of here 5:30 Friday of last week, and there were 6 flowers blooming in this field. I came in Monday morning, and it looked like somebody had flipped a light switch. Now, since Monday, we've been through a couple of storm cycles, and you can see that the sunflowers are starting to go past their peak. They're still pollinating, they're still producing pollen, but now what they're going to do for us, as they dry and die, these flower heads will wildlife active, especially this time of year, because folks, they know the weather a lot better than we do. They know that it's too hot to be out in the middle of the day messing around. And mainly the deer are a lot more nocturnal right now. That was a sound stage and a movie prop. Halle Berry started her acting career in the miniseries Queen. Absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I've seen pictures of her from 1990, and she's still gorgeous today. It's just absolutely amazing. On the right-hand side, this will be a corn maze. The corn maze coincides with Highway 17 and all of the events that occur out on 17, like the pumpkin patch and the and the family days and the carnivals and the petting zoos. All of that takes place out there. We've got a brand new vegetable barn that's going to be opened up tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a soft opening tomorrow. It's not going to be the grand opening or the ribbon cutting, but that's where we're going to sell all of our produce. We have temporary markets up there right now. If you wanted to pick some produce up to carry home with you, what we've got coming out of the ground right now are several species of tomato, several species of pepper. We've got squash and zucchini available. We've got sweet corn. We've got a Silver Queen variety of sweet corn. Just a ton of different peppers. We've got banana peppers and bell peppers growing in the field, and jalapenos as well. The fields look quite quiet and empty today. I know that they had one of these fields opened up for the U-pick market. Tree line, the white-tailed deer will come out and eat absolutely everything that you've planted in the ground. There's no way for us to do anything about that but put the electric fence up and keep them out of the fields. Vegetable barn on the left-hand side where you saw some of those vehicles parked back there, we have got the ability to cold store produce. Stuff that is picked off of Boone Hall that doesn't go straight into a and you can see most of the ears are already gone off of this. What are left in the ears, the tassels have turned dark brown. Once a tassel turns dark brown on an ear of corn, it's too tough to eat. So it makes for a good feed. Honeydews, cantaloupes, watermelons. We've been very fortunate this year with rain. If you saw the Disney movie Cars,
А це
that's
плантації
what Mater
лохини.
looks like in real life. I'm pretty sure they used an old international truck, and that's what that is. That's an old international steak bed. Beyond the last of the blueberries, an early season grape for us. This is a muscadine. Muscadine is North America's only native species of grape. These will be ready in about 3 to 5 weeks. Most of this goes into the U-pick market. One state. Everybody says Georgia. It's California. California is the number one peach state. Georgia is the peach state because they've got really good attorneys. They copyrighted the peach state. And they've got better advertising people than we do because they advertise it a heck of a lot better than anybody else. But it's normally California in peak production. South Carolina or Texas takes that number 2 spot depending on who had the worst weather the year before. Yield. On the right-hand side, an antique road grader. It's supposed to be painted the colors of the University of South Carolina, which is Clemson University. Go Tigers. I know I got some Gamecocks on this ride somewhere. On the left-hand side, beehives out in the field for pollination. This would have been 130 individual strawberry plants in the ground last October. We grow them under plastic. Underneath that plastic is drip tape irrigation. In Israel, they found out they could use a lot less water and irrigate arid soils and grow crops in a sandy area, and that's what we are. We mimic that tremendously by using these plastic rows on top of these earthen mounds. In front of us on the left-hand side is a clover field for wildlife. In front of us, there's an eagle's nest. It looks like that is an active eagle's nest. It is on the Avenue of Oaks. Folks, everybody on the tram coming in would have driven right by this when you drove in today. As you drive out, you're going to pass the nest again. But if you're on the left-hand side and you can see past the sun, look at the top of this pine tree closest to us. There's an active nest in this tree. Look at the eagle's nest in the old tree out there. That eagle's nest is abandoned. Both of these nests are on the Avenue of Oaks. This is how you drove in. If you slow down by that azalea bush, you'll see that tree in its entirety. And if there's a bird in it, you get a much better photo from right over there by that azalea bush. Speaking of photos, the most photographed avenue in the country is what's in front of us right now. This is the Avenue of Oaks at Boone Hall. This was planted initially in 1743. The polo ponies always steal my thunder on this end of the talk. They're absolutely beautiful. They're thoroughbreds. They are owned by the young lady who owns the old gray mare. The old gray mare is the only one that does not play polo. She's a retired lady. She's living her best life out here at Boone Hall. But the lady who owns the polo ponies and competes with them leases the pasture and half of our stable from us. She's an old friend of the family. The trees themselves support a magnificent biome inside of themselves. Look up. Spanish moss, which is not a moss and it's not from Spain, it's an air-dwelling plant. It's the first thing your eye is drawn to. But if you look closely at the horizontal branches of all of these trees, it's covered in a beautiful green fern. This time of year, it's unusual to see it green. It's normally brown and dormant. It's called resurrection fern because the English thought it was coming back from the dead during the rain cycles. And that's what it's done now. We got a tremendous amount of rain the last couple of days, and this fern is all opened back up and become very lush and verdant again. The trees are a natural habitat for several species of mammal, bird, insect. Everything takes advantage of it. If you get an opportunity to walk out here, you're going to hear cicada elbows on the ground. The gravesite is for Thomas Boone and his wife Mary. The Gullah presentation at 3:15 will take place out here at the Gullah Theater at the last of the 9 historic slave dwellings. These dwellings were constructed between the time frame of about 1790 to about 1810. They tell a very important historical story. We have them open to the public strictly for that fact. Please take a few minutes and walk through them and listen to the history talks. Enjoy the Gullah presentation. Enjoy some of the history talks that take place up here in front of us on the left-hand side between the first and second dwelling there. They talk about the historic dwellings and the people who lived in them, and they talk about the owners of this plantation and how it's changed over time. Some of these were inhabited right up until the 1930s by sharecropping families. This would have been a sharecropping operation. Hospitality suite on the right-hand side. If you haven't signed up for your house tour, stop here when you get off. Behind that is a stable. The stable tour is open during the day. Of course, behind that is the cafe and gift shop where you see the umbrellas folded up there. We've got soft serve ice cream back there. But we sell our own honeys. We sell our own sauces. Stop in and check. Behind that is actually a butterfly aviary. A great place to walk around a lot of different species of butterfly and take some wonderful photos back there, just behind where you see that monarch butterfly on the wall. The brick building on the right-hand side, extremely asymmetrical. It was built by enslaved labor. The original foundation of this building goes back into the 1830s. It's on the National Historic Registry of Places. We've stabilized it because we want to make a museum out of it. It started off life as the building for a mechanical cotton gin. It was a place where they could put a mechanical device to clean cotton. We're very proud of it. We want to turn it into a museum, and that's why we've stabilized it the way we have. Our driver's name was Eddie. He did an absolutely fabulous job getting us around here safely. Please feel free to show him some appreciation when you get off. Thank you, Eddie!
Thank you!
Eddie's got the worst job on the whole plantation. I get to talk to y'all. I get to see your faces and smile. He has to listen to me for 6 solid hours during the day. I don't know how it doesn't drive the man crazy. Folks, thank you so much. If you'll remain seated till I get to the back to get this gate open for you. It's been a pleasure having you at Boone Hall today. If you have any questions, there it goes. I'll be the first one off. Whatever brought you to Charleston,